Hello, listeners. My name is Charles Scott. The program in which you're about to listen to is called Can We Talk? Youth and Adults on the Move. We are here with my son.
Charles Scott Jr., how you guys doing? And Happy New Year. I know you guys have been missing our episodes. You know, holiday season is now over, and we can proceed into 2024. It's going to be an exciting year for real estate and other items.
Some of the things we're going to talk about today are free money.
Yes.
The economy is new and the economy is robust, and we're here to give you some ideas and take you on a journey for home ownership, give you an idea what's new out there for the new year. And as you probably already know, in the past we've already explained it to you. We are brokers here in the Northeast in Bridgeport, Connecticut. However, we service all over the state of Connecticut.
Yeah, service the whole state of Connecticut. We have offices in Waterbury, Naugatuck, Bridgeport, and New Haven. So we got it covered no matter where you want to go. We're going to talk about some of the new and exciting programs that are out there. They're for first-time home buyers, or even if you're not a first-time home buyer, even if you're an investor. Yes.
You can give us a call. One of the programs that we're going to emphasize today is called Time to Own. Maybe you can lead into it and
Time to Own, if you look at some of our previous episodes, it's been a program that's been established in Connecticut in the last year and a half, and luckily they keep refunding it. I mean, it works. As you've seen, we've gotten a few deals through with the Time to Own. We actually know how to navigate it.
More than a few.
I was going to say, give us a call. We'll put you in the right direction as far as where to go. Now, with Time to Own, it is forgivable money. I'll say free money. If you're going to be living in that house for up to 10 years, the loan is forgiven. It's money for your down payment. It's also money for your closing costs. So I'll say this is a very unique program, only subject to CT residence. I must say that. You must be a CT resident for 3 years. But I will say it's one of the best programs I've seen lately.
And you said forgiven after 10 years. You don't even have to stay there 10 years.
Yeah.
The way the program works is that if you're in a certain area of the state, they will give you up to $25,000 for you to put down on a property and to cover your closing costs, which we'll explain and break it down, the difference between the down payment and the closing costs. In other areas of the state, you can go all the way up to $50,000.
Yes, I was going to say up to $50,000.
$50,000. And the way it works is that whenever you're out there looking for a house, you can tap into this money if you qualify. Remember, there is qualifications. It's not just money that they hand you up front. You have to get pre-approved just like you would for any other mortgage. And it's also based upon your income.
Yes.
And the longer you stay in the house, the more they forgive it. For example, they will forgive 10% every year up to 10 years. So if you stay in the house, let's say 5 years, and you buy another house, and they gave you $50,000, then $25,000 or half of that goes back. But if you stay there for the whole 10-year period, you don't have to pay any of it back.
Anything back, and that's great. That's gonna get a lot of people who couldn't normally afford a house get into a house, because that's one of the barriers I've seen when it comes to first-time home buyers. They get the credit straight. They have the income, they have the job, everything's good, but it's saving up for that down payment. It's saving up for that closing cost. So you're like, wow, it's such a, large amount of money. But with this program, it's helping a lot of people get into homes.
A lot of people get into homes. And how it works basically is you call us and come in and sit down. You get pre-approved. We don't do the pre-approval. We're not a bank. We're not a mortgage company, but we have certain ones that we can refer you to.
Yes.
Because there's a list of approved lenders. It's not everybody that can do this, or not every lender, or not every bank, not every mortgage company. There's a list that they have of people that administer the program. So you would contact us. We would tell you which lenders are approved. It may be one of your banks, because there's quite a few on there.
Oh yeah, there's some major banks. It's not just smaller banks. It might be one of the banks you already have.
You may already be doing business with that particular bank. So instead of just walking in there and using your own money, and if you qualify for this particular program, this is something that
I would say this is what OPM, other people's money. This is a great chance to use a program made by the state of Connecticut. The government's backing it. The governor's putting more money into it, and I say right now it has a good amount of funds in it.
Yeah, we just checked. How
much?
I
saw $37 million in there.
$37 million are in there.
I
now.
foresee that lasting as we know into the spring, but that doesn't mean wait until the spring or the summer. Right now, I would say act now. Give us a call. Even if you don't think you're ready, give us a call to see what steps are missing to get you ready to apply for this program.
It's first come, first serve.
Yes, that's the one thing. It's first come, first serve.
Once you find a property, then your lender can put in a reservation. In other words, even though you haven't used the money, they put your name in there and they say,
Yes.
okay, let's put aside this amount of money for John Smith because he's been approved for a mortgage and he has found a house. Once you find a house and you got a contract, your lender can reserve that money for you.
Yes.
And when you close, then that money comes into play. So what you want to do, though, is remember, you got to get started now.
That's the thing. Get started now, because remember, you don't want to wait until spring, summer, because maybe the funds will be lower, or maybe something that if you would have started earlier today, you could find something out on your, like our episode from a couple months ago, check your credit report, your annual credit report. That's a good resolution, I would say, for January. Do, your credit report. Make sure there are any mistakes on there, have those cleared up, so you can apply to this program, hopefully get the best rate.
Now is the time to get started.
Definitely.
A lot of people, they wait and they dilly-dally and they say, oh, I'm going to get around to it. And then what happens is the money starts dwindling down. You can't act from a reaction of weakness or a panic.
Exactly.
It may take you a while to find a property. So, you got to get out there and start looking.
Like I said, everyone's different. Well, one of our clients last week, but took them out, saw one house. That's the house they liked. They put an offer in and got accepted. And then we have some customers that maybe take a couple months. Everyone's experience is different, but that's the best thing about working with us. We're full-time agents, so we take your hand, we hold your hand through the process, and we accommodate to your schedule.
And like you said, that person that went out there and found the house just like that, it isn't like they just started out. They had been looking, reviewing properties, taking home buying class,
educating themselves,
reviewing the different properties. So when they came in, they had an idea of what they were looking for. You got to be focused. If you come in and you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2 baths in a certain area, and maybe it's a ranch that you're looking for. So when you come in, you have more of a direction than just coming in and not knowing anything. But that's where the preparation, comes into it. Because that person had been looking not for a house for a while, but investigating the possibility of buying a house for a while.
And understanding how the system works. Remember, give us a call. We'll get your pre-approval, comes to our office, make an appointment. Remember, us real estate agents, we can see what is on the market using the MLS system. We can see what markets, have the newest listings. Same as Zillow, we have more information, more detailed information. Like I tell all my clients, please send any houses you see on Zillow to your agent so we can vet the property, make sure it's even still on the market.
Well, you just said something there that I want to elaborate on. I had a new client that came in, within the last 5 days. And, we're narrowing it down because they started off with about 15 different properties and, this city, that city, this city, that city. But now that they're out there in the marketplace looking at different properties and, they're coming in from the Norwalk area and they're looking in Meriden, they're looking in New Haven, West Haven.
Yes.
They're looking at Naugatuck, Ansonia, Waterbury. They're narrowing it down, looking around, and then also they come to the conclusion that certain areas they are eliminating from the distance of travel.
Yes.
You've got to take into consideration, how far are you away from your job? If you have children, you got a consideration of the school system.
I was say that school system's important also.
Babysitter,
family. You're moving away from family. Maybe your base is in Norwalk, but now you're living in Waterbury. Now you're miles away.
You may live somewhere right now where your sister picks the children up from school, or maybe your mother or whoever, the relative, but now you move too far away. Now what happens? You got to take into consideration the schedule of your wife. Your wife goes to work at a certain time, you go to work at a certain time, children have to be in school at a certain time. So all of these things have to be taken into consideration, and you don't do that in a week.
Oh, yeah, no. That's why, when you get your pre-approval, You come, make an appointment with Tri-State Real, you sit down with us, and we can see all the properties in the system. We go from whether you want to live in the Valley, you want to live in Fairfield, like we go over the entire state. But like I said before, you want to make sure you get a pre-approval first. And with this time to own program, it makes it even better because there's certain areas where they will pay, up to $50,000.
With the way in which people look at properties today, it's a lot different from years ago. Years ago, if you were looking at a property and it's your perception, you would get in the car or with the real estate agent, travel around, find a property. But remember today, a lot of this is online.
Oh, yes.
You as a buyer can look online. You can go to websites such as Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, put in how many bedrooms you want, how many baths you want, what type of house do you want to, remember, when you get out there, another important factor, like the people I'm working with recently, they are looking at square footage.
Yes.
And like most people think, oh, the houses are all big. And you get out there and they look at the photo and they say, oh, this photo looks great. And then I say, well, they go to the open house and I say, oh, those rooms were small.
Exactly.
I said,
If anything, when I'm out with my customers, I say, let's look at the square footage, but also let's look at the year the house was built. If I see the house was built, let's say before 1950, I know the closets may be a tad bit small.
I was going to get you.
Just because before the 50s, you had a church outfit, you had your work outfit, and your casual outfit. But if the house is new construction, let's say we go see a house built in the 90s, 80s, or even new construction of the last 10 years, I'm going to see a lot more modern open floor plans, bigger closets. So it's going to have an experienced realtor with you also when you're looking for these properties.
You just said open floor plan. People want an open floor plan now too.
Everybody loves that.
Years ago, the kitchen was small, and then you had your little dining room there, and then you had your living room. Now they eliminate the dining room area and encompass it all into the kitchen. So you have your kitchen, and you have your area there for the table, and then you have
the kitchen.
Eat-in kitchen.
I see it right now. I see the kitchen. I see the stools right next to the kitchen island that can be doubled as a place to prepare food and eat food. I see a lot of new construction using that.
This is called their open concept. People want to be able to fill, space.
Exactly.
Look out, and, you got the kids outside playing in the yard. You're in the kitchen cooking. You look out the window. You see everything. You got the sliding doors. You got the open space area. You can go out and breathe in the country breezes. So, the open concept. Years ago, the homes were little smaller capes. And, everybody lived, close together and, in a situation where you could open the window and start talking to your neighbor.
Exactly. That's why I tell my clients, let's see the house in person. A lot of people get impressed by the pictures online. Well, the pictures are meant to impress you. They're not going to put pictures that look bad. Even the bad pictures look good. So we're going to go there in person, see the house, and evaluate whether this is the house for you or not.
That's why you need a real estate agent to take you out and show you these different properties.
Yes.
Sure, you can look online. What a lot of people do,
they look online, they go to these open houses.
Send us the properties.
Yeah.
We evaluate the properties. I'll take out my little red magic marker and I'll point out things such as, okay, you saw that house and that house had, let's say, 1,000 square feet. So now, you know that if you're looking at homes and it says 900 square feet, there's no sense in us going to see that house.
Exactly.
Because if you didn't like the one, what was 1,000 square feet and it was too small, well, how do you expect the one that's 900 square feet to be bigger than the one that's 1,000? So it takes the little experience of getting out there.
Exactly.
I also find that, if you come in from an apartment and you have, let's say, for example, one bathroom, a lot of people now say, oh, I want 2 bathrooms because I got to go to work, my wife's got to go to work, the kids got to get up in the morning, they got to go to school. And so everybody's knocking on the door waiting to get into the bathroom. Whereas if we have 2 bathrooms, it's going to make it even, more appealing.
Exactly. That's why, like I said, again, when you get your pre-approval, you make an appointment with us, you sit down, we go through all this to say, what needs do you have for your family? What needs do you need in a house? Do you need a garage? Do you need the second bathroom? Because remember, when you get pre-approved, it's going to give you a certain price range. And with that price range, you'll say, okay, this is how much house I can afford. And within this price range, this is what house it entails.
What do you think some of the questions are that people ask when they first come into the office and they sit down? I'll give you an example. How long is this going to take to find a house? And I say to them, well, it all depends on your taste. It depends on what your expectations are.
Yes.
You know, if you are just coming into the marketplace and you expect to have a castle, the 3 bedrooms, the 2 baths, the finished lower level, the more things that you ask for, the longer it's going to take.
Exactly.
Because that's your wish list.
And guess what? That's everyone else's wish list too.
Everybody else.
They watch the same TV, HD TV. They want everything perfect, the marble countertop. They want the second bathroom. They want the kitchen look. But remember, that's what everyone else wants also. So you're going to be in competition with these buyers who may be, unfortunately, overpaid sometimes. They'll put bids higher than what the house is worth just to get that house.
The more you want, the longer it's going to take.
So what we tell our customers, we educate them on how real estate works. What you want to do is look for a house that, use your imagination. What can this house become? Remember, not every house is going to be your final house. Like I tell people a lot in a few episodes before, the average family lives in a house for 7.5 years. They don't live in there for the 30-year mortgage. Even with the time to own program. After 10 years, you can move into houses, that little loan is forgiven. So remember, each house that you move in has the potential to become your dream home or the stepping stone to your dream home.
Well, even with the time to own, even though they forgive the loan after 10 years, you don't have to stay there for 10 years.
Exactly.
Suppose you buy a house, let's say, for $300,000. And you use the time to own program, they give you the money. Let's say, for example, 5 years later, you see another house. It's a good deal. It's going to cost you a little bit more money, and you want to move into that house. Now, you might owe, let's say, $290,000 on your old house, and someone's going to offer you, let's say, $350,000 for it.
How about that?
So you say, oh, okay. So you can sell that house, pay back the money you owe, and even if you have to pay back some of the time to own money, you still come out with about $50,000 profit in your pocket. So now you take that money and you buy another house. So the thing is that you can buy a house, even though the mortgage is 30 years, that's only because they spread it out so you can afford the house. But you can sell the house anytime you want to, as long as you pay off the old mortgage, and hopefully your purpose is to end up with a profit that you can put towards the other house. So don't be afraid. A lot of times, people, why do they hesitate in buying a house? You say, oh, a lot of things can happen. I may lose my job. That's a long time. I said, well, what difference does it make if you're renting? You still got those same issues.
I would say, when you're renting, you have the same issues. I would say, if anything, you have worse issues. With the renting, you have the landlord that's going to be calling you every day. You're paying 100% interest rate. Remember, that rent is building you no equity. Every month you're making the landlord richer. The money goes to him. You have no equity built up. So in case of emergency, think about it. If you're a homeowner, God forbid you lost your job, or maybe you're going through some time, some troubled times. Let's say before those times happen, you open up a HELOC. Now you can access that HELOC to help you pay out any emergency bills.
What's a HELOC?
What's a HELOC? Remember, a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. For example, let's say I have a house, I bought it for $300,000. Let's say over the years I pay down some of that debt, and let's say over the years the property went up. Let's say the house is worth $450,000. I owe $200,000. I go to the bank and says, I'd like to open up a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. They say, okay, according to your credit and everything, we'll give you a $25,000. You can access this anytime you want. It's like cash. You can write a check to yourself, to a business. Maybe you want to invest in a family member's business. But remember, once you activate that money, that's when the interest rate starts. But if you don't touch it, it sits there for, I'll say, an emergency or an opportunity to buy another piece of land.
Exactly. You can use that'll be another segment we can talk about HELOCs. But that's an excellent way to pay off bills, an excellent way to buy items without having to have a large payment. You could go and take $5,000 off of the equity of your house and get a loan towards, And at $5,000, your payment might be $80 a month.
Yeah, how about that? Now, you
$80
tell me
a month.
in this day and age, what credit card will give you an interest rate better than that? And what, $60 a month paying back a $5,000 loan? Few and far between.
You can't beat it.
Can't beat
You
that.
know, I have a HELOC on my house, and I actually access some of the money, but I use the money for marketing and advertising.
Yes.
So I look at it this way. If I spend $5,000 in marketing and advertising, and that's going to make me $20,000 back, boy, that's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer.
I'm spending $5,000. The marketing and the advertising is going to make me $20,000. I'll do that all day long.
Now, if you're renting, remember, you can't do that. You can't. There is no HELOC. There is no security net. That's why some renters, you know, they're afraid of home ownership. I would say you should be afraid of renting because that's more of a risk.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
That's true. And you have a lot of people that will come into this country and, you know, whatever country they leave, home ownership is a pride of home ownership.
Yes.
Sometimes you say to yourself, people come into this country and within a matter of 3 or 4 or 5 years, they're already buying a house. You know, they come in and they haven't even really acclimated themselves to the country that much, but they value home ownership.
I'll say it like this, you know, just from real perspective. I have some customers, they can barely speak English, but guess what? They own about 3 to 4 properties. So you tell me, is it numbers? Is it a language barrier? It's just a matter of learning the process and rinsing and repeating. You buy this house, pull the equity out, buy another house, and then before you know it, you have a real estate portfolio.
They can barely speak English, but they know how to count.
They know how to count, yeah. I tell people.
They know how to count. In other words, they know that if they get a certain amount of money and they buy this, and they can take that and they can fix it up and they can sell it for that, then they end up with $50,000 extra.
Exactly.
And then if they take that money and put it into something else, they don't put it into material things.
Oh, no.
They put it into something that the burden of making the money is all on them. They use their sweat equity. They call it their hands. They use their hands. If you see people walking down the street, they may look like they're regular laborers. They may have muddy shoes. They may have concrete on their hands and their face, but they're putting their labor into a property that they purchased, and they got a hammer and a wood and they're sawing, and they know that once it gets all fixed up, they can sell it, and they got a big fat bank account, and they take that money and put it back into something else.
You would never notice this person next to you in line has dirty pants and paint on his shirt. He might be a millionaire. Might own 3 properties.
Could be.
Yes.
So you got to be able to prioritize.
Yes.
While that person's walking down the street looking like that with $300,000-400,000 in the bank, the other guy's driving by in a new car, all dressed up.
Yep. Got the new Jordans, got the new suit.
New this, new that, everything brand new. You know, trying to figure out, you know, hiding the car from the repo man.
Oh, yes, yes.
Trying to figure out where the next payment's going to come from.
Paying rent.
Paying a high rent.
High rent, too.
Probably renting from the same guy that's walking down the street with the mud
about
on
that?
his boots and the concrete.
Very true. I mean, I still get that call every day, even in the new year, where people are seeing that their landlords are selling these properties, and the new landlord's coming in, and new landlord isn't mean, he doesn't know malice against you. He has to increase the rent. If not, he's going to lose the property to the bank. Remember, he's paying a premium for this property. Your old landlord may have owned the property since the 80s, the 90s. There was no mortgage. That's why he was able to charge you that small rent. But it's still happening every day. We're getting that call. Landlord sold the house.
We have to have a meeting on wealth building.
Yes.
Because that's how the real wealth is built. That's how you get ahead. That's how you make money. Your hands can only move so fast. The hands can only, if you're working in an office, remember the purpose of the office is to get you to do as much work for as little money as possible.
Oh, yeah.
And it's called on their part profit for their shareholders. The shareholders want to see a profit. You are the vessel for them making that profit. You are the one that's working. You are the ones that the time management. They clock how many pieces of paper you can shuffle, how many deals you can put together, and the more money that you can make for them, you know, they give you a little pittance of a raise. They may give you, 3% raise. they may be making 60%.
And honestly, I'm seeing a lot of companies, when it comes to entry-level positions, I mean, they're starting to make them more automated. For example, I'm going to tell people this. You've noticed this. When you call these major chains, not the mom and pop pizza restaurant, the major chains, that phone call is going to a different country, call center. They take your order, they email it to the restaurant. Why have the kid down here at the store, we're paying $8 an hour to answer the phone, they got him making the pizza now. So
they're paying him more than $8 too.
Yeah, they're paying the person in a different country $3 to manage 10 restaurants, all their orders. So we're seeing a lot of outsourcing, a lot of AI. I'm sure, hey, the guy is getting paid $3. He might get replaced soon. The robot will answer the phone. So we're seeing a lot of companies take advantage of this and try to lower their we're seeing the world change.
That's another segment that we're going to have to do a segment on AI, artificial intelligence.
We're seeing that in every industry, especially our industry.
If the audience out there is not aware of automatic or artificial intelligence, please, everybody out there, I admonish you to Google what artificial intelligence is, because it's taken over. Even I see now where even the lawyers and real estate and attorneys, they're using artificial intelligence. They used to have, the secretaries, the paralegals that would do all of the real estate. Now they can go on a computer and put in what they're looking for. The computer will think up what they want and put it together. So
I'll give a real world example again. I saw somebody, they were having a dispute with their landlord. What would normally cost them about $900, call a lawyer, can you write me this, all that. Go to ChatGPT, right in there, I'm getting evicted, write me up a disposition to defend me. Hey, just as good as lawyers, I must say.
Yeah, and we're not advising you get rid of the lawyers.
Not saying that.
We'll have lawyers all over top of us. But even they use artificial intelligence.
Even they're using it.
So there's a lot of changes that are coming. There's so many subjects that we can talk about, and so many things that you need to know out there. And we want to be that source of enlightenment, that source of information for you.
Yes.
And so, with that, we want to leave you today with, time to own, free money. Call us, get into the market. We got some free cash for you. Like that guy on TV that says, free money, free money. Government's got free money. Well, it's true.
It's true. It's forgivable, free money. Give us a call, and we'll go from there.
All right. Until next week. God bless.
Amen.